Hey guys, got a kind of a different video for you all today. So the other day, I was actually reached out to by A Drive and the Elestrals team to see if I'd be interested in trying out their game, which quite frankly, I have been interested in trying out Elestrals for a couple of months now, but just never really had the time to get into it. But they were so kind. They sent me an entire creator box to open. So we're going to be doing that today. Just quick disclosure, this is not sponsored by Elestrals, though I did get the product for free. But a huge thank you to A Drive and the Elestrals team. Now let's get this thing cracked open. Full disclosure here, I do not know what all is included in this, so I'm just excited as you guys are. So let's open it up and see what we got here. So if you guys aren't familiar, A Drive mainly got popular originally through his shiny hunting through Pokemon, and wanted to create a card game that kind of recaptured the magic of like the original card games of the early 2000s. And so far, this has just been an absolutely incredible game to see grow and flourish. So coming in here, we've got 2 packs of Shattered Stars. It looks like we've got a couple of starter decks here. Yeah, good grief, it comes with 5 starter decks here. That's incredible. It looks like it's one for each different rune type here. That's actually really cool. Okay, cool. So we've also got a couple of blister packs. See here, this one has Nectar of the Gods, two runes to draw 2. Where have I heard that before? And Ambrosia, return up to 3 runes from the Underworld back to the Spirit deck. Okay, so that basically lets you restore your life and energy. I do know the basics on how to play. Oh, and we've got a little, I think it's the water spirit pin. That's really cute. It's absolutely adorable. Looks like we also got a playmat here. We'll have to open that up here and furl it out. We'll use that for the rest of the opening. Got one, looks like a promo card, it seems. We'll take a look at that too. And then looks like a booster box of the base set. So that's really exciting to see here. Let's start with the mat here, because I've got my own personal mat currently laid out for this opening, but let's take a look. Oh, that's really cool. It looks like it's the air element, or the air rune. Like I said, I'm not super familiar on it, but this actually looks really exciting here. So, okay, I guess we should start, with the starter decks. So this appears to be the water rune one. I will try my best to kind of learn as I'm going on this. Like I said, I know some bare bones about it, but I'm not super in depth on it. This is a game I've been wanting to test out for a really long time, and A Drive gave me a wonderful opportunity with this, so thank you again. Command endless powers of the oceans and sink your opponents into the depth with a Majesty starter deck. Okay, so Majesty. I don't know if that's the name of a Elestral or if it's the spirit itself. Awesome. So it comes with looks like a D20, looks like a little spacer there. D20, a how to play guide, which again, I'm decently familiar with the basic of it. Okay, so yeah, the pack comes with an Earth, Fire, Water, Thunder, and Wind starter deck, which that's pretty cool. Okay, so Majesty is like the main Elestral of the set. That's okay, makes sense. All right, so we've got Majesty, 3 runes. This Majesty gets 1 attack for every enchanting water on your field. So I guess you could expend a water. Enchanted Elestrals cannot be targeted. Okay, so it gets targeting protection, and it's got a massively high defense at 14. Okay. Sluggles. When you cast this, Sluggle can return up to 3 water runes from your Underworld to your Spirit deck. Okay, so these actually let you refuel your waters. That seems really useful. Globby, you can special ascend this Globby to Majesty from your hand or deck if it is a 3 enchanted. So if you have 3 on it, you can bump it up to Majesty from anywhere. That's also really cool. So I guess Majesty is like the main focus of the deck. Does it come with multiple Majesty, or is it just the one? I take it it's probably just the one. I want to make sure that we are sleeving up anything that we might think is going to be good for us here. So let's go ahead and get Majesty into a inner sleeve here. And then we'll kind of build together a deck on this later. Smoltuga, when you normal cast Smoltuga, you can search your deck for an Elestral with enchantment cost fire and add it to your hand. Okay, so this is kind of like promoting a synergy of doing a mixture of water and fire in the same deck. Yeah, there's Kratoga, which I guess is kind of the next step up. So you'd go Smoltoga, search out Krakatoga, and then the next turn you'd enchant a fire onto it and then evolve it up. Okay, that makes sense. You can expend 2 fire to force an opponent to expend 3 energy. Okay, so it's burn damage effectively. When a player casts Eruption, you can target and destroy a card. I take it Eruption is an instant, probably, so that would make sense. Foamy. When this Foamy is destroyed in battle, you can special cast an Elestral with enchantment cost water from your deck. Okay, so it replaces itself. It's a floater. Okay. Kind of looking through these all look absolutely incredible. When Galaxia is enchanted, swap its each water enchanted Elestral's attack with its defense. Okay, so when you enchant onto him, he swaps the attack and defense of all waters, which kind of makes sense. I'm noticing all of these have really high defense values, but not as high of attacks. Okay, all right. So now we're getting kind of into the fire side. Okay, so it looks like Nectar of the Gods is kind of like a common. Is a more common card here. Okay, so Poseidon, this is like the god thing, isn't it? When you cast Poseidon, you can enchant up to 3 water onto it, so he actually comes down with 4 rather than 1. You can Nexus 1 water from this Poseidon. What is Nexus? That's not a term I'm familiar with. So when it says Nexus, you can move it off of him to another Elestral. Okay, that's actually really powerful. Let's kind of sort these out like as we're getting them here. We've got a couple of fires with Warmite. We have Pelicaris, which is pretty cool. And then we've got a couple of just general ones. So I know that these are like the really powerful ones because they kind of like help you turbo up a little bit here. Okay, so these are the field spells, aren't they? Atlantis, Elestrals get +1 attack and +1 defense for every water on them. Okay. And if I'm not mistaken, they work kind of like stadiums in Pokemon. You can only have 1 active at a time. That's still pretty cool. Okay, so these are like the items. Trident of Poseidon. The empowered Elestral gets +2 attack and can't be targeted by counter runes. Okay, so targeting, protection, and attack seems pretty good. Also, I see now, while Poseidon is enchanted, opponents can't cast counter runes. So as long as Poseidon has 1 energy on him, it just stops an entire mechanic. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so these are counter runes by the looks of it. Okay, change all Elestrals to defense unless they're water. Okay, so basically swap an entire board down. Makes sense. Okay, so Eruption, this is an instant. An opponent must expend 3. If they control a fire enchanted Elestral, they must expend 1 instead. If I'm not mistaken, that worked with the other card back here, right? The Kratoga, yeah. You can expend 2 fire to force an opponent to expend 3 when you cast, and it pops a card when you cast Eruption. Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Okay, so there's some built-in synergies already right there. That's pretty cool. We got Tornado. This is an instant by the looks of it. Targeted opponent's rune returned to hand. Okay, so we got also Shield of Achilles. Okay, so it's very clearly Greek mythology focused. That's pretty cool. Shield of Achilles can only be cast after an opponent's Elestral declares an attack. Expend 1 equal to the Elestral's enchantment cost. Expend energy. Spirits, I should say. Equal to the enchantment cost in order to negate the attack and return the Elestral to hand. Okay, so this is a counter spell, and it lets you stop attacks by expending spirits. Okay, and then we've got a lot of just base spirits, so a lot of Leviathan. That's the water one. Vipero, I guess this is the fire one. Yeah. And then Lycaris, so that's the wind one. Okay. But yeah, that's pretty cool. Okay, so I'm noticing the die here is a spin down. I guess this is probably to keep track of how many spirits you still have in your spirit deck, because I know that's also your life count. So probably just an easy way to kind of indicate that. Okay, kind of makes sense. One appears to be the fire rune deck. Hopefully by the end of this, we have a lot of really good tools that we can use to kind of build our first major deck here. All right, moving into what I believe is the fire deck of the group. So similarly, we've got spin down die with the fire rune on it. Okay, so it looks like this one is the Trifernal deck. It's kind of like a Cerberus by the looks of it. 3 runes to enchant, 14 attack, 3 defense. When an opponent casts an Elestral, you can expend fire in order to give it -3 defense until your next end phase. Okay, so when it comes into play, you can expend a fire to drop its defense for a turn. Okay, if that Elestral's defense is reduced to 0, but oh, if it's 0 defense by that, it's auto destroyed. That seems insanely good. So judging by that the first card and the cards that we saw back with the water deck, I assume fire is probably going to be burn damage focused and just like raw destruction, which that's pretty cool. Okay, so let's go ahead and get Trifernal here into a sleeve. Because I do like to make sure the more valuable cards are well taken care of in that regard. Let's see here. So Nekruff. When Nekruff destroys an Elestral in battle, it burns. Okay, that makes sense. Blazeris. Okay, so that's kind of like evolution stages. Makes sense. This Blazeris can attack twice during your battle phase. Okay, when Blazeris destroys a second Elestral in the same battle phase, you can special ascend into Trifernal. Okay, that's really cool. So you can just go ahead and ascend it if it destroys 2 in battle. You can target an opponent's Elestral. Okay, yeah, this is the same one that was in the water deck. Okay, but this is the upgrade version of it. When Flarenik is enchanted, Elestrals can't attack the turn they are cast unless they are fire enchanted. Okay, so it stuns. That it gives non-fire summoning sickness. Okay. When a player casts a rune, an opponent must send the top 2 from their deck to the underworld. This humbust effect can be activated 4 times in a turn. Okay, that's interesting. So it's a mill. So far we've seen burn, destruction, and mill out of fire. That's pretty cool. You can next this up to 2 fire energy when you do target and destroy an opponent's Elestral. Okay, so you can move 2 fire off of it to somewhere else to blow something up. Okay, makes sense. Valkyries gets +1 attack for each enchanting fire on the field. Okay, so every fire energy that's in play, he goes up by 1. That seems solid. When Cinder receives 1 or more fire from your opponent, must send the top 3 from their deck to the underworld. So it's more mill. Okay, so fire seems to be really mill and burn focused. Okay, so we've seen Smoltuga, and I guess we don't get the upgraded version of him in this deck, but that makes sense. You kind of want to give a reason to get multiple decks. What's this one? When Vitakwa enters battle with the defense position, you can suppress that Elestral and destroy it. If you do, he deals no battle damage. Okay, what is suppress? That is a keyword I'm not familiar with. I would assume it suppresses like negating effects. To remove a continuous rune or an Elestral's effect, usually temporarily. Okay, so yeah, if it attacks a defense position, Elestral, it negates the effects and then destroys it. Okay, so that's really useful for removing defensive threats. Makes sense. All right, so we have our first Earth Spirit Elestral here, Spineth. Okay. When Spineth is destroyed in battle, you can cast it from your underworld as an artifact rune, empowering the Elestral that destroyed it with 0 base attack. Okay. So basically anything that takes it out in battle, it basically makes it useless for future battles outside of going to defense mode. Okay, that's actually pretty cool. All right, so we got a lot of the same like general cards here that we got in the last one. Hephaestus. Okay, so this must be the fire rune one. When you cast this Hephaestus, you can disenchant up to 3 or you can enchant up to 3 to it. Right. So it comes into play with 4. You can disenchant 1 to search your deck for an artifact rune and add to hand. Okay, so it basically is like
Greek Hephaestus, the Forge Master. Okay, so it's going to be a very much artifact focused for fire decks. Okay. Elestrals get +1/+1 for every fire on them. Okay, so this is their stadium. That makes sense. The hammer. Okay, so this is an artifact. The empowered Elestral gets +1 for every enchanted rune on your field. While Hephaestus is enchanted, the empowered Elestral cannot be targeted by effects. Okay, so it looks like all of the gods have some kind of artifact tied to them as well, which makes sense. And then we got Eruption, which we saw in the last deck. Okay. Earthquake, target and destroy an Elestral. Okay, it's an instant, just 2 energy to do. Gorgon's Gaze, target an Elestral if its effect is on the chain, negate it. Okay. Until the end phase, that Elestral is suppressed and cannot receive enchantments, attack, Nexus or Ascend. Okay. So basically it just stuns out something that's using its effect. Okay. But I don't think you necessarily have to chain it, do you? Here, 1 second. That's a counter card. You might have to chain it. Counter runes are unique because they have to be set face down, but after that you can cast them on any player's turn. Okay, no, so it doesn't have to be done and chained to something. It's just basically like a trap in Yu-Gi-Oh! You have to have it set for a turn. And then Tsunami, which we've seen before, and then all of the spirits. Okay. Alright, it's pretty cool. So this seems to be a lot more stun, mill, and burn focused, which I guess that does make sense. Okay, moving right along here. Looks like we've got the Wind Spirit deck. Let's take a look at see what this one has in order. So far the gist I'm getting is water is very defensive and fire is very much burn and disruption heavy, like through more unconventional means like effect burn, milling, that kind of stuff. The very little I have seen of Earth so far has made it kind of seem like it's more disruption focused. So can't wait to see what Air has in store for us here. Also, we haven't seen any of lightning yet. So judging by the runes on the back of the box, this is going to be wind, lightning, and water. I'm assuming water is going to be like the last couple and that lightning is going to be the follow-up, the pairing. Okay, so Penterror, let's see, is our main card here. When this Penterror is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, you can special cast any number of Hydrake and Twindra from your hand or deck in attack position. Okay, so I assume those are like its lower stages, and like it can just barf them all back out onto the board. Okay, that seems pretty solid. We've got another spin down here. This one seems to be the Wind Spirit, so that's pretty cool. And another how-to guide. So Hydrake and Twindra. Okay, so these are the two that kind of go with him. Let's see here. When Hydrake is destroyed in battle, you can special cast a Twindra from your hand or deck. Okay, so they all float into each other. Okay, that makes sense. When Twindra is destroyed in battle, you can special cast a Penterror from your hand or deck. Okay. So, yeah, they literally just all float into each other. That makes sense. Let's see here. Aeromare. When you ascend this Aeromare, you can cast it from your underworld as an artifact rune, empowering the ascension with the effect. The empowered Elestral cannot be targeted or destroyed by effects. Okay, so it basically comes back as an enchantment. Okay, that makes sense. Glidestale, I assume the next up. You can expend wind in order to give this Glidestale +5 attack until the end phase. Okay, when this Glidestale is empowered by Aeromare, it can attack twice. Okay, so you're supposed to basically rank this up from Aeromare. That way you can make it untargetable and able to attack twice. Okay. P-Gust. When P-Gust receives 1 or more wind, you can target and destroy a rune. Okay, that's pretty good. Exaltair. I guess this is up. No, this isn't up from P-Gust. This is his own thing. You can Nexus up to 2 wind. When you do, your opponent must expend 2. Okay, so a little bit of burn damage in wind. That's interesting. Solarit. You can expend wind in order to change the position of an Elestral unless it is wind enchanted. Okay, so able to modify battle positions a little bit. Kind of what I'm seeing so far from this is a lot of swarming, a lot of evolutionary focus, and then just enchantments in that regard. Not really as centralized as I'm seeing with both water and fire, though. These also all kind of seem to be here. Actually, let me go back and check attack values. Okay, they all seem to actually have pretty balanced stats compared to water and fire, because water was very defensive focused and fire was very offensive focused. So these kind of strike a middle ground in a way. Okay, Aster Rabbit. So this is the first lightning that we've seen. When this Aster Rabbit receives one or more lightning, you can look at the top 3 cards of your deck, add one of them to hand, and shuffle the rest. Okay, so that already reads as kind of search power. You can Boombat, sorry. You can disenchant lightning from this Boombat in order to target and destroy an Elestral. Okay, so targeted destruction, that's insanely powerful. Electric. When you normal cast this Electric, you can search your deck for a Divine Rune and add it to your hand. I take it the Divine Runes are these? I think that's right. Oh no. Okay, the divine is the gods. Okay, that makes more sense. Okay. And then we've gone through Vertakwa before. And then look, we've got mostly the same stuff here, but we got here. There's a new one, resting on your laurels. The resting on your laurels can only be cast if the opponent has 2 or more enchanting spirits than you. Okay. So 2 or more energy in play than you do. Target and destroy an opponent's Celestial with the least number of enchanting spirits. Okay, so just blow something up, and it takes 1 energy to do that. Okay, and yeah, we've covered all of the rest of them before. Okay, Aeolus. Okay, when you cast this, you can enchant up to 4 onto it, so it comes in with 5. Okay, that's pretty good. You can disenchant 2 from this in order to search your deck for an Elestral with enchantment cost of 1 wind and add it to your hand. Okay, so gives more search power for your winds. Makes sense. Island of Aeola. Okay, so that's what the mat is. This is a wind mat. Okay. Elestrals get... Okay, yeah. It seems like we have these field spells are all kind of the same. They're interchangeable in that regard, at least for the ones in the starter decks. Bag of Winds. The empowered Elestral gets 2 defense. It can't be targeted. When the Aeolus is enchanted, the empowered Elestral destroys an Elestral in battle. You can target and destroy a rune. Okay, that's pretty good. That's what the runes are. What these enchantment things are, right? Oh no, a rune is anything in play that is not either a spirit or an Elestral. Okay, so that actually seems really powerful. Tornado. So this is an instant. Target opponent's rune and return to the hand. Okay, so I'm getting a lot of rune control actually out of the wind ones now. So they also kind of are giving me a control game plan in a way. Thunderstorm, target and destroy a rune. Okay, yeah, okay. Then we've seen Tsunami, and then we've got all of our spirits. We've got a lot of wind spirits. We've got thunder, not lightning, I'm sorry, and water. Okay, that still seems like a really solid starter deck here. A lot more kind of floating and control focus than I was expecting, but I'm here for it. Wind actually does seem pretty solid and, quite frankly, more up my alley. So something I am noticing as going through these decks are all based on what look like the 5 spirits that they keep showing in all the things, but there's 3 other spirits that I'm seeing on all of the art and boxes, and I'm curious when those are where those are going to play in. So we've got another spin down. Looks like this one's the Earth one. Makes sense. And we've got the Earth deck here. Kind of going into this, the first one here is the big 3 cost Centaur Boar. You can disenchant Earth from Centaur Boar in order to target and destroy a card. While Folio Forest is enchanted, this Centaur Boar cannot be targeted by invoke runes. Okay, so Folio Forest, it sounds like that's going to be their field spell, but that's interesting. This is the first time I've seen a field spell be that utilized. So we've got Sprouts here. When you normal cast the Sprout here, you can search your deck for an artifact rune and add it to your hand. Okay. That's interesting. So it comes with 3. Okay, so these are the lower versions of Centaur. Okay. When say Timber is empowered by your artifact rune and destroys an Elestral in battle, you can nexus the spirits from that artifact to this say Timber and special ascend it to... Okay. So if he takes out something in battle while he's enchanted, he instantly goes up to Centaur. That's interesting. Okay, Spynymph, we've actually seen that before. Spinosec. Okay, this is new. If Spinosec can attack in defense position, if it does use... Oh, okay, so this is actually a part wind. Okay, that's interesting then. So you can attack in defense with it and use its 9. Okay, that actually seems really solid for like a more defensive strategy. Okay. Giraflora, when you normal cast this Giraflora, you can return an Elestral with an enchantment cost Earth from your Underworld to hand. Okay, so a little bit of recursion. That's pretty nice. Equilinx, you can nexus to Earth. You can target and destroy a rune. Okay, so that's interesting. It seems there's been rune destruction in every element except water so far. Tectaris gets +1 attack for each enchanting Earth on the field. Okay, so he buffs up real big. Rune Magem, when you normal cast this, you can search your deck for an Elestral with Earth and add it to your hand. Okay, so just search power. And then we've gone over Pegus and Arrowmare before, and we've gone over Boombat before. Let's see here, are there any new... Nope. Okay, moving into the... moving into our other ones here, we've got Demeter. This is our big mythic, I guess. So it goes up to 4 when you cast her. You can disenchant 1 from Demeter in order to give an Elestral 3/3. Okay, this seems like the most basic of the ones that I've seen so far. Like Poseidon was all about you can like start turbocharging energy, like you can scale up. Hephaestus was all about searching artifacts. Aeolus, good grief, I cannot remember what Aeolus did now, but Demeter seems like the most basic of them so far. Almost, I mean, I get it. Stats are useful and all, but I always feel like effects can kind of trump stats in the long run. Folio Force. Okay, so I was correct. It is the field spell effectively, and it's the same basic effect as all the other ones. Okay, Scythe of Demeter. Okay, so let's see if this turns it around. The Empowered Elestral gets +2/+3. When it destroys in battle, you can return a Earth spirit from your Underworld. Okay, that's solid. Healing and energy conservation. If Demeter is enchanted, you can return 2 Earth instead. Okay. That actually seems pretty good. There, you can kind of get healing going. This is kind of what I was expecting from Earth, is a little bit more heal focused and energy conservation. Earthquake, target and destroy Elestral. We've seen this before. Same with Tornado and same with Thunderstorm. Poison Tipped Arrow. This is a new one. Poison Tipped Arrow can only be cast when an opponent casts an Elestral. Okay, it's one of the trap style. It's a counter card, I should specify. Target it and give it -2 attack until the end phase. During this turn's end phase, you can expend an energy equal to its enchantment cost to destroy it. So if you say hit Centaur with it, you drop it by 2, and then at the end of the turn, you can spend 3 to blow it up. Okay, makes sense. And then all the spirits for this one. Okay. Honestly, kind of looking over it, I was on the fence about the Earth deck for the longest time, but then seeing the Scythe of Demeter kind of did turn my head on that a little bit. I don't know if this is one I'd be looking into long term, but it absolutely holds a little bit more interest now. So far, though, looking over it, the wind one has definitely been the one that holds the most interest to me. All right, and then lastly, we've got the Thunder starter deck, now that I actually know that it's Thunder and not Lightning. Still, these starter decks have actually been really cool. I've been getting a pretty good idea on the how each of the elements works through these, and that's actually been really nice to see. We've got a nice spin down die. Oh, this is like a dual colored one. I guess some of the other ones were also dual colored, but this is the most pronounced just by having it go between the two colors. That actually looks really nice, not gonna lie. Okay, and then Imperial, it seems to be our star of this deck. 8, 12, 3 runes. This Imperial gets +1 attack for each Thunder in your Spirit deck. You can expend Thunder in order to target and destroy a card. Okay. So this seems to be more about energy conservation at that point. Because you have to do 3 Thunder to get it onto the board, but you want to keep as much Thunder as possible in your Spirit deck to keep this as big as possible. That's an interesting dynamic. Let's see if energy conservation is what we're doing with Thunder, then that kind of makes it even more interesting. And I'm kind of wondering why Earth I wasn't really getting a full vibe from. Quackle, you can cast Quackle, you can return up to 3 from your Underworld to your Spirit deck. Okay, so it is energy conservation. That's kind of what I was getting the vibe of. Symmetric. Okay, you can reveal 12 Thunder energy from your Spirit, 12 Thunder Spirit from your Spirit deck in order to special ascend this into Imperial. Okay, so you really want to play this in an almost pure Thunder deck then, because you already have to have 2 in play for that, and then you have to reveal 12 more, so that's 14 total. Definitely seems, this seems like the most ramp heavy or energy conservation heavy strategy that I've seen so far. That's actually really interesting. Whenever Toxion receives 1 or more Thunder, your opponent must expend, okay, a little bit of burn, okay. Galvanom, you can expend 3 Thunder to target and destroy up to 2 cards, okay. That's interesting too. Rhyceros, when Rhyceros is enchanted, Elestrals can't attack the turn they are cast. Okay, so gives non-Thunder summoning sickness. Okay. Spark It, you can Nexus to Thunder. When you do, look at your opponent's hand and discard. Okay, so this has hand rip as well. I'm being sold on Thunder right now. Good grief. This actually looks really cool. Aster Rabbit, when Aster Rabbit, oh yeah, we've looked at Aster Rabbit before. We already thought Aster Rabbit actually looked pretty good. Jolten, you can, when you normal cast Jolten, you can search your deck for a Stadium rune and add to hand. Okay, so it doesn't even have to be a Thunder Stadium. It can be any Stadium. That's actually pretty cool. Boombat. Didn't we see Boombat in the other deck too, and it was a different art? Am I misremembering that? You can disenchant Thunder from Boombat in order to target and destroy an opponent's Celestial. Yeah, we've definitely seen... we saw Boombat in the other deck, but it had a different art than this. Are there alt arts of the same cards here, like at the same rarity level? If so, that's cool, but I don't know. Spy Nymph, okay, we've seen him before. Warmite, we've seen him before. Okay, so I'm already noticing this one is a lot heavier on the Thunder side. Just jumping back here. Okay, yeah, all but 5 are Thunder. Okay, so that makes a lot of sense. This is a lot more pure Thunder of a deck than any of the other ones were, which that actually kind of excites me a little bit. We've got Nectar of the Gods, Ambrosia, Circle of the Sky, which we've seen all of these before. Okay, Zeus. That makes sense. When you cast Zeus, you can enchant up to 3, so he comes in with 4. You can disenchant 1 in order to give a Elestral -3/-3. Kind of the same issue with Demeter. I don't really know how stats are really going to be super effective, but considering the fact that they've been brought up twice, maybe I'm undervaluing them. Okay, Mount Olympus, it's our standard field spell, or stadium, sorry. Thunderbolt of Zeus. The empowered Elestral gets +2. While the empowered Elestral destroys an opponent's Elestral in battle, they must expend 1. Okay, if Zeus is enchanted, they must expend 2 instead. So it gives power and burn, and that's interesting. A little bit of a different direction than I expected it to go, but considering how much energy conservation I've seen so far in this, that probably makes sense that you need a little something to get there. Thunderstorm we've seen before, Earthquake we've seen before, Shield of Achilles we've seen before, but Pandora's Box, this is a new one. Okay. Pandora's Box can only be cast when an opponent activates an effect that searches or casts a card from deck. Negate that effect, and the opponent must send the top 2 cards of their deck to the underworld. Okay, so it's just a straight up counter to floaters, to all the like level up straights that I've seen so far. That's actually really cool. Overall, this, I think, actually, this has been the one that impressed me the most. I'm really excited to kind of look and see what we can do with Thunder, because this actually seems like a really fun deck. All right, moving forward, we have a bunch of packs and promo cards to kind of look at. I know these two are of the a more recent set, so we'll put those to the side and we'll open those last here. Okay, you know what? Let's start with the additional game card. This appears to be a promo of some kind. Galaxy. It's a water. When Galaxy is enchanted, swap. Oh yeah, no, we saw this back in the water deck, but it's a really pretty hollow version. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, this is the one that lets you swap the defenses to attacks. That seems really critical for water, so I'm glad that we got a really pretty version of that. Similarly, it looks like we've got similar arts for Nectar of the Gods and Ambrosia, which seem to be very common between decks, so I'm glad we got those too. All right, and looks like each of those came with a additional pack of base set for Elestrals as well, so we'll open all of that together, I think. Still, that is really cool to see. I'm glad that they kind of gave us like promo versions of the big common cards. That actually is really awesome to see. With that said, before we open the big box, let's go ahead and open these blisters that came with the holo promos. Okay, I do like how thick these packs are. That's actually really nice to feel. Okay, Heron's Obol. Until the end phase, when an Elestral is destroyed in battle, you can draw a card. Okay, and that's like a counter, so you can use that when your opponent goes in for combat. That's actually pretty good. Clovey. Let's kind of organize these out by rune, I guess. So assuming that we're following the same rune structure, let's just do this. Let's do, see here, the official way they have it organized is Earth, Fire, Water, Thunder, Wind. So we'll do that. We'll have generals on the far left, and we'll go by the order that they have suggested. And we'll do common rarities up here, hollow rarities down here. I think that makes the most sense. So let's see here, Clovey. When Clovey receives one or more Earth, you can draw a card. That seems pretty decent, especially considering the fact that it's going to come into play with one attaching onto it. So you're immediately going to get payoff for that. I think that's how that works. Earthseer. When Earthseer destroys an Elestral in battle, you can special cast one spirit. I guess there are tribes down here that I didn't even notice before. What looks like a bear. I don't know what the tribe symbols mean. Elestral from hand or deck. Okay, so that seems more specialized. Cracked. Oh, that's adorable. He's a little squid dude. When you cast Cracked, you can target an opponent's Elestral. That Elestral is suppressed and cannot attack as long as he is enchanted. Ooh. So this is just a full-fledged stun out. Okay, that seems pretty decent. Ursmog. Okay, so this is going to go with that one. You can expend fire in order to special cast a spirit or Elestral from your hand. Okay, so this lets you special cast out another of its same tribe. That's pretty cool. Aster Rabbit, we've actually seen that before. Signetric, we've seen that with the Thunder starter deck. Same with Sparkid and Trifernal. Okay, and then we got a Earth Spirit, so that's pretty good. I'll put the spirits up here just to not mix them in. But yeah, so far we've seen a couple of new cards already and a new concept that I didn't see with any of the starter decks, so that's pretty interesting actually. So looks like we're going to get new concepts as we're going with this. We got Volcanic Forge. Okay, that's the stadium that we're used to at this point. Drops of Lethe. Okay, reveal any number of cards from your hand, then shuffle them into your deck and draw that many +1. Okay, so it replaces itself. That's a nice thing, but it's also kind of like there's a few other card games that do something similar with this. Cynthia, all those in Pokemon are like the main one that I can think of. You also have things like Magical Mallet and Reload in Yu-Gi-Oh, which that's pretty good. I think the big thing on that, though, is it also replaces itself, so it's not an inherent -1 to use. Trataya, okay, this is new. When a player casts Ambrosia, you can draw 2 cards. Oh, and that's on either player. Okay, so considering I've seen a lot of Ambrosia between different things, I'm assuming that that is a card that's pretty much played in everything. So I'm kind of glad to see that. Okay, Warmite we've seen before. Earth Scout. Okay, is the tribe that is belonging to Ursa? Because I'm noticing that's a very common thing here. When Earth Scout is destroyed in battle, you can special cast a Spirit Bear Elestral from hand or deck. Okay. So kind of going to the same thing. Blazaris, same deal. Okay, Wayspire, this is a new one. You can disenchant fire from an Ignector or Wayspire to force an opponent to expend 2. Okay. I do remember seeing Ignector in one of the starter decks. I think that was one of the fire ones that we saw before. This Wayspire's effect can be activated any number of times on your turn. Okay, that's interesting. So you can just kind of burn off your cards. I understand that if it goes below 2, it's under enchanted and it's not going to be able to do anything anymore. But still, if you have like a bunch of the lower ones on the board, you can kind of sack them to burn out the opponent. It seems like there could be a strategy built around that, honestly, especially if you could find a way to special cast a bunch of them onto the board. Kindleo, I think we've seen that before. Imperial, okay, so we got a common version of our big guy from the starter deck. That's nice to see. And then we've got a Wind Spirit as well. That's pretty good. Okay, I'm kind of excited to get cracking on the giant box now. Okay, so I also just quickly looked it up. Apparently the rarities are the crystals at the bottom. So the one where it's disconnected, those are commons. The ones where it's fully connected there, those are uncommons. And the ones with a dot in the center, those are rares. And then the ones like these where it's a full diamond, those are stellars. And it looks like stellars are the most rare. They have different color palettes and set them apart from the normal version and are usually numbered to show how many copies exist. Well, I assume that these are kind of more promo ones for that, so they're not as hard to get. So kind of looking into here, immediately there's a promo. Ooh, okay, that's pretty. Voltempest, and that's like one of the cover cards here. So it's thunder and wind. Okay, so the 2 attributes I was already looking at using. You can disenchant thunder or wind from Voltempest to force an opponent to expend 3. While Zeus is enchanted, this Voltempest cannot be targeted. Okay, that seems absolutely insanely good. And let's go ahead and get that sleeved up. Good grief. I definitely want to... This is definitely one that I think I'm going to be using. Because that seems like it's a lot of fun. And I hope it's good, because I want to play him, because he looks really cool. Okay, so super minor thing. This pack, like, unfurled itself in a really weird way. And I'm having to take very special care not to bend the card as I am trying to get it out. Okay, and absolutely get this thing into a sleeve. Pronto. And it looks like its primary attribute is thunder, so we're gonna go ahead and put him down here with that. With that said, we've got... How many packs come in a box like this? Okay, it comes with 36 packs and then the 1 box topper, which I'm assuming that's what Voltempest here is. Still, that is a cool card. I really hope we get more like it here, because I'm already very heavily interested. Okay, we've seen P-Gust. Oh, right, we haven't put down a win yet. Electric, Small Toga, Necra, Ignector. Okay, no, I guess we hadn't seen it before. When you normal cast this Ignector, you can special cast up to 2 Ignector from hand or deck in attack position with fire. If you do, you must skip the battle phase. Okay, so yeah, absolutely, you can swarm with these things and then bring out the big guy and just start burning the opponent down. Okay, that seems really solid. Titanostalk. Okay, this is new. You can expend Earth to force an opponent to play with their hand revealed until the end phase. Okay, So you get information, but I'm not really sure that's really worth the energy cost. Okay, Barabog, Earth, Water. Okay. When your opponent casts an Elestral or Rune without Earth or Water, they must expend... they must expend an energy. That's interesting. So it burns them for not playing Earth or Waters. Okay. Sakurasaur, you can expend Earth in order to draw 2. Okay. We've got our first holo of the group. We got Gato Bolt. Here, let's go ahead and get him into a sleeve here. You can target a Thunder Elestral, a Thunder Enchanted Elestral, and give it +1/+1 for each Thunder enchanting this Gato Bolt until the end of the turn. Okay, so in order to use this effect, he has to have a minimum of 2 in play. So at the very least, that's +2/+2, and that's once per turn. That seems pretty solid. We're gonna go ahead and get him down there. Trying to get this out of here. Okay, so we've got Rummagem. We've actually seen him before. The Golden Apple of Discord. Okay, this is a new one. Discard a card from your hand, discard a card from your opponent's hand at random, and then they move the top 2 from their deck to the underworld. So it's you discard 1, they discard 1, and mill 2. Okay. From 40 card decks, milling might actually stack up pretty fast. Okay, Atlantis, we've seen that before. Drops of Lethe, we've seen before. Volcanic Forge, we've seen before. Thunderstorm, we've seen before. Glauby, we've seen before. Cinder, this is new, I think. When Cinder receives one or more fire from your your opponent must send the top 3 from their deck to the underworld. Okay, so it's more milling and fire. Really does seem like fire likes that milling power. Okay, Leonite. This is a new one too. When Leonite is in attack position, players cannot cast Invoke runes. Okay, so it stuns invocations. That's interesting. All right, Islands of Aeolia. Okay, we've seen that. Folio Forest, we've seen that. Jolten, we've seen that. Bertea, we've seen that. Drops of Lethe, we've seen that. Kindleo, we've seen that. Wayspire, we've seen that, but now we have 2 of him. Blazeris, we've seen that. We've got a Holo Kraktuga. We've seen him before, but not yet a Holo version. So kind of glad to see that. That's actually really cool. Also, something I've noticed, our blisters didn't have Holos in them, but so far every pack we've opened from the box has Holos. I don't know if that's common or if we're gonna run out of those eventually here. We got Mount Olympus, Sorlet, Quackle, Ursier, Clovey, Boombat. Okay, so I was right. It was a different art because this is the first art that we saw of that. So we have 2 different arts of Boombat. That's interesting. Galexia, which this is also a different art than the one we have earlier of this. That's actually really cool to see. So there's multiple arts of the same card. That's good to know. Zephyrog. This Zephyrog can attack the opponent's spirit deck directly. Okay, so this direct attacker, that's pretty good. When the Zephyrog deals damage to an opponent, you can look at the opponent's hand and discard. Okay, so it hand rips and can attack directly. That seems pretty solid. We got another Voltempest, just I guess a lower rarity of it, but still that's cool that we got another one. Happy to see that. So we have a Voltempest deck in progress by the looks of it, which that's always nice to see. It's nice when you get multiples of a card that you actually want to play with. It's pretty cool. Okay, Typhlant. This is a new one. When you cast this Typhlant, you can discard a random card from the opponent's hand. Okay, so another hand ripper for the waters. That's interesting. Another Ignector, another Necruff, another Drops of Lethe, another Volcanic Forge, another Foamy. Okay, so we passed by this earlier, but I don't think I read it fully. When you normal cast Pelecaris, you can search your deck for an Elestral with enchantment cost water and add it to your hand. Okay, so that's why this was in the water starter deck. Okay. Carry On. Okay, this is new. When Carry On is destroyed in battle, you can target the Elestral that destroyed it, take control of it, and move it to your Elestral row until the end phase. So it, for the turn, steals it, but that's only if it's destroyed in battle, so it would basically just stun out an attack for a turn, I guess. And decent, but not great, I guess. Sonicore. Okay, this is new. The Sonicore's cast cannot be chained by counter runes. Okay, that's cool. so it gives you a little bit of protection. While the Sonic Core is in attack position, players cannot cast counter runes. So it basically stuns out counter runes. That is interesting for sure. I'm also really glad to see we're getting lots of lightning rune cards, because these are the ones I'm definitely the most interested in. See here, we'll go ahead and get the spirit out of here. Folio Forest we've seen, Jolton we've seen, Tadpuff. Okay, this is new. You can expend water in order to special cast this Tadpuff from your hand in attack position with a water. Okay, so you can burn a water to summon him with a water. Okay. Quackle, Sorlet, Glauby, Cinder, Kindleo, and we got a Hollow Nectar of the Gods. So it kind of matches the one we got over here too. That was the promo. So, oh, they're different colors. I just noticed that. Okay, that's actually pretty cool then. I'm wondering if we're going to get a full set of like every card from the base set in this. I wouldn't expect to, because obviously some are exclusively going to be higher rarities, but at the same time, like, we've seen a lot of really cool things so far, so I'm excited. I'm really excited to see this. We got Sluggle, which we've seen, Urseer, Clovey, Golden Apple of Discord, Rummagem, Arrowmare, Astorabbit, Cynetric, and Hollow Circle the Sky. So this is another one of those that we saw in every one of the starter decks. So hope maybe something worth playing in a lot of different decks by the looks of it. All right, so first off, we know that Spirit goes over there. Okay. We got Charon's Obol, Mount Olympus, Sorlet, Clovey, Urseer, Earthquake, Scythe of Demeter, Spynymph, and a Hollow Ambrosia. Okay, so now we've gotten like hollows of pretty much all of the common rarity or the common cards. So far we've seen a lot of the like more common stuff in hollow. So I'm curious to see if we can get any more of the. We haven't seen any hollows for Earth or for Wind, so hopefully we can see something there. Okay. A lot of these we've seen before. Okay, Helios' Chariot Ride. This is new. This Helios' Chariot Ride can only be cast during the draw phase. Opponents cannot cast runes this turn. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, fair enough. Boombat, Galaxia, Zephyrog. Okay, this is new. Rise from the Ashes. It's 3 runes to cast. Can I get this to focus? All right, 3 runes to cast. Target an Elestral in your underworld and special cast it in attack position. Okay, that's cool. That actually is really cool. So it basically is a revival spell for any Elestral. That seems really useful, right? Got Rummagem, Golden Apple, Atlantis, Ignector, Typhlant, Galaxia, Zephyrog, Javalanthus. Okay, this is new. So it looks like it's similar to the one that attacks and destroys something. When Javalanthus destroys an opponent's defense position, Elestral, in battle, that opponent must expend 3. Okay, so it burns when it pops something in defense. Okay, and Ladogon. When a player casts Ambrosia or Golden Apple of Discord, you can target and destroy a card. Okay, so these seem really interested in the common, the cards that are like common enchantments. So that seems really solid for a direction for Earths. I have been noticing a lot of Earths have that kind of deal. And then we got another water. I will say I am very curious to kind of look up some of the topping lists following this, because it really does seem like we have the bones for something here. Forge, Nimbug, Ampup. Okay, this is new. You can expend like Thunder to discard this Ampup in order to search your deck for up to 2 Ampup and add them to your hand. Okay, so it's kind of like Thunder Dragon in Yu-Gi-Oh. You can send him to search for 2 more. Okay. Bestaqua, Quackle, Sirikun. Okay, I think this is new. During your draw phase, you can expend Wind in order to special ascend Sirikun into Stratomoth from your hand or deck. Have we pulled a Stratomoth yet? I don't think we have. Arrowmare, Aster Rabbit. Speak of the devil and it shall appear. Stratomoth. Okay, so this is a big coster. Stratomoth gets +1 attack for each Nimbug and Saracoon on your field and in your underworld. You can expend wind in order to return each opponent's runes to their hand. That seems really good, not gonna lie. Just being able to get rid of all runes with one fell swoop seems really powerful. Also, I love the fact that we pulled that literally as we were reading a card that had to do with it. Also, knowing A-Drive's love of Beautifly in Pokemon, I wouldn't be surprised if that might have something to do with it. Tadpuff, Sluggle, Urseer, P-Gust, Electric, Trident of Poseidon, Eruption, Hammer of Hephaestus, and another Hollow Ladogon. Okay. So now we've gotten 2 of that. Electric, Smoltoga, Warmite, Necruff, Helios' Chariot Ride, Titanostalk, Wayspire, Kindleo. Ooh, Crackling. This is the big one of that Kraken one that we liked so much. When you cast this Crackling, you can choose up to 2 unoccupied slots on the opponent's Elestral row. Those Elestral slots cannot be used. Ooh. So the funny thing is that means if your opponent passes without an Elestral on board and you already have locked down 2 slots, you might actually be able to lock them out of the game. That might be interesting to look into. Okay, so this is the first time we haven't gotten a holo in the box, so they're not guaranteed. It's just we've been getting insanely lucky. Okay, that's interesting that we... I hope we haven't burned all of our holo luck, because good grief, we could always use more holo luck in this life. Quackle, Bertaqua, Crackid, we got another Crackid, that's nice. P-Gust, Saracoon, Chrysor. Okay, so we've seen the lower one of this a bunch. Chrysor can attack your opponent's spirit deck directly. When Chrysor deals damage to opponent, you can return up to 2 wind from your underworld to your spirit deck. Okay, so that gives you recursion and wind. Seems pretty nice. There's Carrion, Fowlicane. Okay, this is new. You can expend wind in order to destroy all runes, or expend 2 in order to destroy only your opponent's runes. Okay, so more rune destruction. That seems really interesting. And then a Lycoris. Once again, no holo in that. So I think our holo luck's burned, which, oh well. It was bound to not last, right? Let's see here. Smoltuga, Electric, P-Gust, Smoltuga, Warmite, Carrion, Pelecrius, Foamy, Riceros, and okay, is Riceros new? No, we've seen him before. Okay, so this is the first pack where we've gotten nothing new as well. So I guess we might be kind of chugging through these now that we've gotten most of what we can get. Because now, like I said, that was the first time there was nothing new in that pack. Karen's Obel, Clovey, Urseer, Helios, Aeolia, Galaxia, Boombat, Lycavolt. Okay, this is new. This Lycavolt gets +2 attack for each amp up in your underworld. Ooh, the one that can discard itself. Okay. When this Lycavolt destroys an opponent's Elestral in battle, you can look at that opponent's hand and discard a card from it. Okay, so it gives you hand ripping plus extra power for each of the Lycavolts that you have. Okay, and then Spinosect. This is also... No, we've seen Spinosect before. It can attack using its defense, right. Okay, and then Lycoris. Okay. So we're still seeing some new things, which is nice to see. I guess we're probably about halfway through the box now, so it makes sense that we're starting to see duplicates a lot. Smoltuga, Electric, P-Gust, Drop of Lethe, Volcanic Forge, Javalantis, Zephrog, Galaxia, Trifernal, and yeah. Oh wait, we got another Trifernal, so that's the big boss of our fire deck. So that's good to see. We've got more of it that we can play now, so we don't have to be just restricted to the 1 copy. Because if I'm not mistaken, you can play up to 3 copies of any card in your deck, which that's good to know. Charons, Clovey, Urseer, Tadpuff, Sluggle, oh, Scabagem. Okay, this is a new one. When you ascend this Scabagem, you can expend Earth in order to search your deck for up to 2 cards with enchantment cost Earth or 2 Earth to add them to hand. Okay, that's cool. Spy Nymph, Scythodemeter, a Theros. Okay. I feel like we saw this earlier, but I don't think I read it. You can nexus up to 2 water. When you do, draw a card for each water that a card receives this way. You're nexusing 2 with this in that regard. Okay. I don't know why it's worded that way. Maybe if a card can't receive more than a certain number. A little bit of confusing wording aside, that seems pretty solid. Sluggle, Tadpuff, Jolten, Ignitar, Necruff, Greyfuse. I think this is new. Oh wait, this is the one that goes into Volt Tempest, I think. You can Nexus Thunder or Wind from a Divine Rune. When you do, you can Special Ascend this Greyfuse into Volt Tempest. Okay, so we're gonna need more of these for a Volt Tempest deck. Sakurasaur, Thunderstorm, Tectactress. Okay. Ever since we stopped getting hollows in every pack, they're not as fun to open, but still, I'm glad to see that we're still getting things that we need for the deck that we're kind of wanting to pursue. I definitely want to see if I can make a deck out of that. Drytea. Okay, this is new. When player casts Ambrosia, you can draw 2. Is that new? No, I think we've seen it before. Earth Scout, Warmite, Mount Olympus, Sorlet, Sakurasaur, another Greyfuse, another Lycavolt, Majersa. Okay, so this is the big payoff for those bear ones. This Majersa gets +2 attack for each other bear Elestral on your field. You can your one spirit bear Elestrals cannot be attacked and cannot be targeted by opponent's card effects. Okay, so basically Mama Bear comes down and protects the baby bears. Okay, well that's kind of cool. That kind of gives a payoff to that strategy though, that's awesome. And also I'm glad to see more of that Greyfuse. We need one more of him and then one more of the Volt Tempest to guarantee that we can build that however we want. All right, we got Clovey, Ursier, Atlantis, Jolten, Tadpuff, Earthquake, Hammer of Hephaestus, Scavengem, and Glidestale. Okay, so this one was in the Wind starter deck, so we've gotten another one of him now. All right. Sluggle, Ursier, Clovey, Folio, Jolten, Shield of Achilles, Scavengem, Synymph, Floracne. Okay, this is new. When Floracne is enchanted, Elestrals can't attack the turn. Okay, so it's another one of the stuns, but for fire. Okay, that makes sense. Seems every element has a stun card that gives like summoning sickness to anything that isn't their element. Which, granted, that makes sense. You don't want. It's kind of like how there's a barrier statue for every attribute in Yu-Gi-Oh! Ursier, Typhlant, Amp Up. Okay, so we got a second Amp Up. We need one more for that. Sorlet, Quackle, Boombat, Lycavolt. Okay, there's our third Lycavolt, so that strategy's come forward. Greyfuse, we have a third Greyfuse for that. Now we just need one more Volt Tempest. Riceros, and yeah, okay. I'm still hoping that we see some more hollows. I don't want it to just be all the cards that we saw at the start are the hollows and that's it. Golden Apple, Rummagem, Ursmog. Have we seen this one before? I think we have. Another Golden Apple, Atlantis, Shield of Achilles, Scavengem, Spy Nymph, and Riceros. So we've been seeing this Riceros a lot. That's a lot of stun that we've gotten for Thunder. While I do think it's a cool card, I don't know if it's necessarily worth getting in our rare slot every single time. Because it kind of feels like that's what's happening. We're getting it every single time in our rare slot. We got Clovey, Ursier, Sluggle, Ursier, Clovey, Demeter, Earthquake, or Scythodemeter, Earthquake, Sakurasaur, and another Majersa. Okay, so we have now 2 of Mama Bear that we can actually build that deck around. So that might actually be worth looking into now, right? Ursier, Sluggle, Tadpuff. There's our third Amp Up. Okay, so that's here now. Typhlant, Greyfuse, Sakurasaur, Scythodemeter, and another Riceros. Okay, we've gotten so many Riceros. Can we please get something different? Like, he's cool, don't get me wrong, but I don't need 6 of them. Drytea, Earth Scout, Warmite, Sorlet, Mount Olympus, Shield of Achilles, Scavengem, Spy Nymph, Volcaries. Okay, I think this... No, this is... We saw this in the Fire starter deck. He gains attack for every fire on the board. Okay. Ignector, Typhlant, Ampup, Golden Apple of Discord, Rummagem, Thunderbolt of Zeus, Chrysor. I think we've read Chrysor before, right? The Chrysor can... Yeah, we've read this one before. Carrion and... Ooh, that's a Hollow Wind Spirit. Okay. I didn't know that could happen. That's actually really cool to see. So it's kind of like holographic lands for Magic. That actually is really cool to see. Probably I'll put it down here with the other one, with the other hollows. But I'll have to keep in mind that doesn't go into the same collection. Got an Urseer, Mount Olympus, Urseer, Clovey, Charon's, Bag of Winds, Thunderstorm, Glauby. Ooh! All right. So we've got the... I think this is like called Ascended, or was that what it was called? These are like supposed to be the hardest ones to get out of the rarities here. Also, the bears are apparently called Ursas. So, but that is awesome. Here, let's get that into a sleeve immediately. That's really cool to see, because like, if I'm not mistaken, you'd want to play this in basically any Earth deck, wouldn't you? That's really cool to see. We've got Necrof, Ignitar, Typhlant, Ampup, Typhlant, Chrysor, Carrion, Electrius, Equilnix. This is, I think, new. You can Nexus up to 2. Oh no, we've seen this before, I think. Yeah. It's Nexus 2 to pop a card. Yeah. Still, that's really cool to see that all the hollows weren't isolated to the top packs of the box. But that was really weird, though. All right. We got Smoltuga, P-Gust, Atlantis, Ignector, Necrof, Spynymph, Foamy, and Ivory. Okay, yeah, makes sense. Okay. Ivory gets +2 attack for every Typhlant in your underworld. You can expend water in order to special cast a Typhlant from your underworld in attack position. Okay, so all these guys that we've been getting. Okay, that's cool. And then Pandicine. You can disenchant Earth from this Pandicine in order to return an invoke rune from your underworld to your hand. So it gives you recursion for your invokes. Okay. That's pretty cool. Again, we're seeing new cards, which that's what I like to see. I like to see things that I haven't seen yet. It makes me feel like I'm getting somewhere with my packs. So we've seen probably a good chunk of the set, but we're seeing still some new stuff. All right, Nimbug, Ampump, Typhlant, Ignitar, Necrof, Eruption, Trident, Tsunami, Crackling. Okay, so we got another Crackling. That's cool. Okay. So now we have 2, so we can possibly look into testing that deck out that we theorized of locking up all 4 zones. I don't know if that's going to be probably impossible, let's be completely fair, but still would be cool. Tadpuff, Jolten, Foloi, okay. Tadpuff, Sluggle, Kindleo, Cinder, Glauby, and Tectaris. Okay. All right, looks like we've got 3 more packs left of the main set before we get into the Shattered Stars. All right, Tadpuff, Jolten, Foloi Forest, Pegas, Elichick, Bag of Winds, Tornado, Necklace of Harmonia. This is a new one. The Empowered Elestral gets 5 attack. During their end phase, the controller of the Empowered Elestral must expend 2. Okay, so you have to keep expending energy to keep it in play. Okay. Another Apharos. And then the Tetralast. Okay. Charon's Obel, Ignector, Necrof, Tadpole, Sluggle, Bag of Winds, Tornado, another Necklace of Harmonia, and another Trifernal. Awesome. All right. We only have 1 pack left of the main set. Really, I'm kind of happy with our pulls here. We've gotten a lot of things I'm interested in trying out. P-Gust, Atlantis, Dryada, P-Gust, Elichick, Foamy, Pelquarius, Carrion, and another Majesty. Oh, this is the first time I think we've gotten an additional copy of that. I'm really glad to see that. So we actually did get an additional copy of it. All right, so all in all, these are some pretty good packs, I would think. Like, we've got a lot of really cool stuff I think I can work with building new decks. I'm especially glad that we got those Vol Tempest. We got a couple of really interesting cards in there. This is kind of like an alt art set booster for the original set that has guaranteed higher rarity cards, specifically for spirits. Kind of like an OTS pack for like Yu-Gi-Oh in that regard. Oh yeah, so this is like, all right, so yeah, these are all the cards that we've seen before. So Hydrake, Arrowmare, that's pretty cool. Glysdale, okay, that's awesome. Exaltair, okay. Pocarius, and a full art like Harris. That's really cool. So that's one full art not hollow and one full art hollow. Okay, that's really cool. So that means we've gotten 2 hollow of the Wind Spirit. I think I'm actually going to go ahead and sleeve up that full art one. That's actually really cool. So it looks like the packs are to specific attributes, because everything in there was wind. So I would assume then that the next one being like having this guy on the front, I would assume the next one then is probably all going to be thunder, which that makes me excited to see, because I've been really wanting to test out some of this thunder stuff. Okay, so we got Toxian, another Lycavolt, Spark Kit, Quackle, Aster Rabbit. Whoa, that's cool. So we got a full art Zeus. Got to keep that in mind. And then a Zaptor full art. Okay, that's awesome. Overall, this looks like an incredible game. I think I have a lot of tools to work with to make some really cool decks starting out. Hopefully, we'll be able to make some content for this going forward. Once again, thank you to A-Drive and the Elestrals team for giving me this opportunity. Again, they are not sponsoring me for this. They did send me this package for free, so I just want to make sure I give credit where credit is due. If this game looks interesting to you, they just released a new set. I believe Frostfall is what it's called. Go check them out, please. This has been incredible, and I'm hoping to make some more Elestrals content for you guys in the near future. In the meantime, let me know what y'all thought, and I will see you all next time. Take care.